He planned a public test of my love. His friends called it content. I gave them a better ending. The kind that doesn't trend, but cuts. The caption they wanted turned into a confession. The first wine glass tipped before he finished his line. Ethan stood near Jake's fireplace, chin tipped up like a host on a live show, voice carrying over the music. Phones lifted around the living room. Arms raised at the same angle. A crescent of screens framed his face, bright ovals floating in the party lights. "Maya, we need to talk," he said, loud enough for strangers by the snack table to turn. I set my cup on the nearest bookshelf and wiped a ring of condensation with my thumb. My keys touched the wood next, quiet metal, small sound, and the people closest to me flinched, as if that soft clink announced some secret alarm. "Sure," I said. "Say it." He inhaled like he'd practiced. "This isn't working anymore." A gasp bloomed to my left. Jess's camera lens jumped, caught itself, refocused. On the couch, Mia leaned forward, elbows on knees, angling for my face. Amanda stood by the hallway, phone chest level, already recording. Each one exactly where she'd said she would stand at 9 sharp. The clock on the microwave read 9:02. I smiled. "You're right. Thank you." Ethan blinked. The script snagged. His mouth opened for the next line. Nothing came out. Laughter died in the far room. Someone paused the playlist, and the song cut mid-chorus. The house settled under that silence parties build when a fight starts. Thick, stale, nose level. I picked up my keys. "I'll swing by Saturday for the rest of my stuff." "Enjoy the party." I turned toward the door. He took a step after me. Behind him, Jess whispered, "Too late. Keep him talking." The red recording dead on her screen glowed like a tiny wound. "Wait, Maya," Ethan called. "Don't you want to talk about this?" I stopped where the hallway opened to the entry. The door glass reflected half the room. Cups, shoulders, surprise. My face looked calm in the blur. Even my hands stayed steady around the keys. The only noise in my chest was breath. "You just broke up with me," I said. "Talking usually goes after cake. Not after you fire someone." "Fire?" He tried to laugh. It sounded thin. "Come on." Jess's lens tracked me like a hawk. Mia mouthed, "Say something." Amanda's finger hovered above her screen, ready to raise the volume when I cracked. The three of them shifted like a small tide when I turned back to the room. "What exactly would you like me to say?" I asked Ethan. "You made a choice." I'm stepping out of the way. A couple by the kitchen island exchanged a look. A guy I didn't know asked, "Aren't you going to fight for it?" His voice came soft, eager for cinema. The word fight hung in the air like a cue line. "For what?" I asked him without heat, then looked at Ethan. "He wants out." I heard him say it. Ethan's eyes cut toward the bathroom door off the kitchen. The same door with the crooked brass knob. The same door that stuck unless you lifted while you turned. In the reflection, Jess's phone dipped a fraction, and her mouth pressed tight. Mia sat back. Amanda blinked. The bathroom door had been cracked open at 7:11 p.m., a sliver of tile and mirror, steam curling from a diffuser on a small shelf. The voices had stacked like cards. "Okay, so line 1 is, this isn't working anymore." Jess had said, crisp and warm, like a coaching app. "Say it straight, not mean." "Girls cry faster when you act calm." "He won't let it go in public," Amanda had added. "He'll chase, that's the point." "Make sure you say it where everyone can see." "Center of the room, 9 o'clock, Mia had said. "Phone's ready. We get the angles. Give me testing my girlfriend's love in public," for the caption. "It'll fly." Perfume hung thick above the sink. On the counter, 3 lipsticks, a cracked hair clip, a phone with a notes app open. Ethan's name floated at the top, bullet points just visible in the mirror. He'd laughed then, low and boyish. "You think she'll cry?" "Please," Jess had said, swiping glass. "Maya's all backbone until you corner her. She'll beg before she leaves." The diffuser light had pulsed, a tiny humid halo. In the hallway, I'd stood with a stack of folding chairs pressing the bones in my arms. The chairs had cut slight grooves into my skin. The sound of their plan pressed deeper. Back in the living room now, Ethan reached out like he could pull me back by the air itself. "Maya, be reasonable." I lifted my keys higher in my palm. "I'm being very reasonable." Amanda made a small noise. Maybe surprise. Maybe the sound of arithmetic going wrong. Jess tried to salvage the show. She moved closer, frame tightening, voice bright. "Tell him how you've been feeling, Ethan." He swallowed. His shoulders rounded just a millimeter. Our friends watched like people on a beach spotting a fin. No one ran yet. No one breathed. "Jess," I said without turning my head. "You can put your phone down." She laughed too loud. "Oh my God, I'm not." "In the bathroom you said, phone's ready at 9. The room shivered. Ethan went still. "You stood by the towel basket, filmed Mia practicing a sympathetic head tilt, and told Amanda to remind Ethan to look stoic so it wouldn't read as cruel on camera." A plastic cup crumpled near the doorway. The sound popped like punctuation. A girl near the window lowered her drink and whispered, "What the?" Ethan tried on indignation. It fell off his face. "You're making this into something it's not." "Then we can check the notes on your phone," I said. Bullet point 2. If she agrees too fast, call it a misunderstanding. Bullet point 3. If she gets mad, say we need a break to cool off pressure. 6 weeks was the number. Bullet point 4. If she leaves, stop her on the lawn. He stared at me. His mouth twitched, as if new lines scrolled behind his eyes and none of them fit. Jake broke the spell from the kitchen doorway. "Hey, maybe take this outside?" His birthday banner drooped between 2 thumbtacks, one tack slipping loose. The E of HBD Jake sagged like a stunned eyelid. Outside works, I said. I reached the door. The night air slid over my skin. Cool. Honest. The porch light cut a circle on the lawn. Ethan followed. The trio trailed, phones down now. The party poured into the dark behind them like a slow river. Faces in doorways, faces in windows, faces peeking around the porch post. On the lawn, Ethan tried for soft. I didn't want to hurt you. I stepped off the porch and stood in the grass. The blades pressed my ankles, cool and damp. You walked into a room full of people and swung the knife. He winced. The porch boards creaked as Jess shifted her weight. Amanda's jaw clenched so tight the muscle in her cheek flickered. Mia tried first aid. We told him not to, surprise you. We said to keep it gentle. He just got excited and... Don't finish that sentence, I said. Excited isn't a reason. It's a word for fireworks. Jess's voice softened, as if talking to a child. Maya, every relationship needs a stress test sometimes. To see if it bends or breaks on camera? I faced Ethan. You planned to make me beg in front of our friends. You wanted a clip. He looked at the grass between us. The porch light cut silver along his lashes. A car rolled past, its headlights sliding over the curb, briefly turning everyone into cutouts. You're taking this too far, he said finally. I walked a few steps toward the sidewalk. The night smelled like wet leaves and someone's dryer sheet. My keys warmed in my fist. No. You took it too public. He took 3 steps after me, voice rising. I love you. A couple of heads on the porch turned toward each other at that, a slow pivot like sunflowers. Jess's mouth curled. She smelled the third act. Love doesn't set up a stage, I said. Love shuts a door. Amanda spoke up with the confidence of someone who reads threads for sport. He needs reassurance. You weren't giving it. He needed proof. I looked at her. Proof of what? That you wouldn't leave when it got hard. You gave him a script for leaving first. She blinked, attention snagged on her own logic. Ethan took a last step toward me. Can we talk? Just us. We're already talking, I said. And we're not us when there's an audience. Then stay, he said, reaching. His fingers didn't touch my wrist. The air between us stiffened anyway. Stay, and we'll fix it. You have a knife in one hand and a camera in the other, I said. There's nothing to fix while you're holding both. The porch groaned again. Someone whispered, damn. Jake stood finally. Okay. House rule, no ambushes for content at my party. He aimed it like a joke. His face didn't laugh. Y'all take the heavy stuff home. Home. A word that once fit my couch and his hoodie on my chair. I shaped my keys around it. I'll text on Saturday, I told Ethan, voice even. I'll knock before I come in. I'll grab my things. He opened his mouth. Closed it. He looked smaller under the porch light. The trick of shadows did him no favors. Jess stepped forward, eyes bright with the wrong sport. You're just going to walk? After 2 years. Watch me, I said. I crossed the sidewalk to my car. The door handle lit that small, polite blue. My reflection in the window was taller than I felt. The living room music stuttered back on inside. Someone needed noise. Behind me, footsteps thudded. Ethan, close, not touching. Please, at least don't make me look like the bad guy. I leaned on the roof with both hands. The metal cooled my palms. You pressed record. I slid in, closed the door, and the world went quiet. The kind of quiet that clicks when the seal meets the frame. On the porch, shapes moved. A hand lifted. A phone lowered. Mouths opened, shut. The house glowed like a fish tank. I drove away. Saturday, 10:12 a.m. Ethan's text stacked while I brewed coffee. Blue bubbles, white bubbles, long blocks, short. Apologies turned to explanations. Explanations turned to bargains. Bargains curdled into complaints. Please talk to me. I panicked. I wanted you to see how much I care. I can't believe you embarrassed me like that. I love you. Come over. I'll delete everything they filmed. I swear. Can we reset? Reset belonged to routers and microwaves. I let the bubbles go stale. By noon, a flower delivery banged on my door. Roses, tight-fisted and expensive. The card said, you're overreacting / let's talk /y. The stems browned in the trash by evening. Sunday, 2:40 p.m. A long email arrived like a book report. He listed pressures, work, friends, the way I pulled back lately. He rewrote the bathroom and stripped it of names. He underlined love with promises. At the end he asked for mercy like a coupon. I scrolled past every paragraph and found the single line that counted. I won't do anything without your consent again. I replied with 3 words. I'll get my things. Monday evening, clothes folded into a duffel. 2 mugs, 1 chipped. A hoodie smelling like cedar and laundry. A plant I'd kept alive for 14 months. Ethan stood in the kitchen doorway like furniture. He didn't try to touch me. His hands stayed in his pockets. The house made small, settling pops, like it was thawing. I turned off comments on the video, he said. Jess posted before I could stop her. It's down now. I wrapped the plant in newspaper and nodded. The ink ghosted my fingers. His eyes flicked to my hands and away. Jake's mad, he said, as if that counted for penance. I apologized. I zipped the bag. The sound filled the living room. Maya. He leaned on my name. Don't you miss us? A memory skimmed the wall. My legs over his lap during movie credits, our plates on the floor, the light from the TV doing quiet tricks. Another. His face in my doorway in the rain, grinning. Wet hair stuck to his forehead. A pizza box like a shield. The way he loosened when I left. The way my apartment changed shape around his shoulders. I set the plant down and carried the bag to the door. Lock up when you leave, I said. Or don't. It's your place. He didn't move. I'll change. You already did. On the way out, my elbow brushed the photo on the console. Set the lake, September sunlight on water. The picture frame too new. I left it face down without thinking about it, the glass catching for a second, then giving up. On the sidewalk, the air carried car wash soap and heat from the afternoon. I loaded my trunk, and the plant's leaves quivered like small flags. Ethan stood on the steps. I'll wait. For what? For you to forgive me. You're waiting in the wrong season, I said. There's no harvest here. He flinched. The door clicked behind me. The building swallowed him. Word traveled fast because phones never sleep. Monday night turned to Tuesday morning. The group chat frothed and settled. Friends I hadn't seen in weeks sent quiet lines. No hearts, no alls. Just, here if you need dinner, at mine, no questions. Another, I'll bring the good ice. Jess DM'd me a paragraph about nuance. It started with, hey babe, and ended with, hate that this blew up like that. She included a joke about the algorithm, then a sentence about my tone in the lawn video. I read it once. I closed it. I let its little gray preview bar sit silent under our last real message, a picture of her dog in sunglasses. Mia sent a single voice note that began with a sigh and ended with, we just wanted to help him feel secure. The word help slid around in my brain like a bead of oil. Amanda tried for wisdom. Stress reveals cracks, not monsters, she wrote. Everyone tests everyone. You just got the ick from seeing it. I typed, everyone doesn't test everyone. I deleted it. I left her balloons on read. Jake texted a selfie with the listing banner behind him and a thumbs up. He'd taped the E back up. Under it he wrote, you handled that like a surgeon. Then, birthday redo when you're ready. Cake guaranteed, drama embargoed. In the mirror that night, a faint bruise ran across my forearm where the chairs had dug in, 4 parallel lines, pale and yellowing. That mark told a small, sharp truth. I carried weight before I put it down. Weeks stacked, cleaner than I expected. Work stayed loud and bright. My apartment changed shapes again, wider without the thud of his shoes. I fixed a dripping faucet. I replaced a burned bulb. I reheated soup at midnight and ate it from the pot. The plant leaned toward the window and grew 2 new leaves, soft and shy. When my phone lit with an unknown number at the edges of sleep, I didn't answer. The sky lightened by inches and nobody held a microphone over my mouth. Ethan tried holidays. He sent a picture of a sweater I once borrowed, folded on his bed like a quiet dog. He sent, miss you, the day our photo memory would have pinged if I hadn't turned that feature off. He sent 3 dots, then erased them. He sent an apology attached to a screenshot of a therapy receipt. He suggested coffee to show proof of improvement. He used the word journey. He used the word growth. He used my name like a soft hammer. I stared at those words, then let them age without reply. Silence can be a kind of grown thing too. 3 months in, I heard from Jake that Jess's story had cost her 2 brand deals. The comments under her apology read like sandpaper, some cruel, some surgical, some precise in a way that felt too clean to be human. Mia stopped posting for a while. Amanda pivoted to crystals. Ethan stopped coming to group dinners. On a Tuesday, he tried one last time, 5 minutes on my stoop. He wore a coat I'd picked last winter. He stared at the seams like they knew him. Just 5 minutes, he said. I opened the door and stood in it. The hallway smelled like someone's curry and laundry. A baby cried on 3, a dog barked on 1. This building told the truth all the time. There's nothing left to explain, I said. I ended it because I wanted you to fight for me, he blurted, eyes wet. I wanted to feel special in front of people. Jess kept saying, you wanted the room. I wanted the door. He nodded once. The nod moved through him like a small earthquake. I'm going to therapy, he said softly. I don't expect, his throat worked. I don't expect you to, he didn't finish. I let the silence hold both of us for a minute. There was a version of us that went to brunch and learned to talk again. There was a version where this porch was a pause instead of the period. But only one version had been filmed. Only one version had been fed to a room. And the way you do a thing matters. Work on being the version that closes the door, I said. Not the one that calls the crowd. I didn't touch him. He didn't try to touch me. He nodded again, a little less broken, and walked down the stairs. His footsteps sank into the building hum. I closed the door. The latch caught with a satisfying click. 8 months out, spring fell hard and green. At an after-work meetup, I met Claire by a busted foosball table. Her laugh hit clean. Her eyes met mine like an open window. She asked what I liked about my job and waited for the answer. When her phone buzzed, she turned it face down without making a show of turning it face down. On date 3, she texted to say she was 5 minutes late and added, grabbing your favorite candy as penance. On date 4, she said, tell me if I missed the mark, when I flubbed a story and lost my place. On date 6, she saw the faint white lines on my forearm and asked what they were without assuming. I told her about folding chairs and a bathroom door with a stubborn brass knob. She swore softly and squeezed my hand, just enough pressure to ground me, not enough to trap. Tests are for smoke alarms, she said, stirring her coffee. Not hearts. I sipped mine and let the steam touch my face. Across the cafe, A couple filmed their dessert. The spoon twirled like a baton. The clip would look sweet and harmless. Not everything recorded is rotten. Some things are just sugar and light. Claire nudged my knee under the table with hers. The nudge said, "Here, not there." The nudge said, "2 chairs, same side." We built a little life with clear edges. She asked before posting photos. She left her phone on the counter during dinner. When something snagged between us, she named it like a mechanic under a hood. Here's the rattle, here's the fix, here's the wrench. On a Sunday, she handed me her spare key wrapped in a napkin and said, "Only if it feels good in your pocket." It did. When old friends asked how I was, I told them about the plant. It had tripled in size and leaned greedily toward the window, as if the city's light were a person to impress. People nodded, smiling at the wrong thing. But the plant was the right answer. It had chosen growth with no audience. A year after Jake's party, the algorithm spit an old clip into my feed. The angle had come from somewhere behind a ficus. Blurry, shaky, muted. In the shot, you could see my back as I turned toward the hall, my shoulders relaxed and straight. You could see Ethan's hand twitch. You could see the pause. You could see the moment the room understood what had just happened. Someone had captioned it, "When the test fails." Comments fought under it like cats. A few defended me. A few said I was cold. A few asked for more context. The rest did what the internet does. Spun, stuck, skidded. I locked my phone and set it face down on the table. The plant brushed the window, leaf to glass, like a cat. Claire came out of the kitchen, dish towel over her shoulder. "Spaghetti's 2 minutes." She caught my face, and her brow creased, a small valley. "You with me?" "Yeah," I said, and put my phone in the drawer with the extra soy sauce packets and the instruction manual for an air fryer we never used. The drawer slid shut, a plain, nice sound. "Tell me a good thing about your day," she said. "A teenager at the bus stop rescued a ladybug from a puddle," I said. "Used a receipt as a raft." Her mouth tugged into a smile that belonged to the part of the world that doesn't film itself. Dinner steamed between us. The pasta stuck once, then let go. We ate. We talked. We watched a dumb show. We argued lightly about whether the villain had a point and tangled on the couch in that lazy, comfortable way people do when the world outside their walls is loud and their rooms are quiet. Later, in the dark, our hands found each other like magnets. The plant's leaves flickered against the window in the breeze. Sometimes, at red lights, the porch light at Jake's house floats up in my mind. It hangs a circle on the lawn. I stand in it, keys in my fist, too many faces watching for a tear that never came. The scene ends the same way every time. My hand on the car door, the seal catching, silence pouring in. The house framed in the rear view like a stage after the actors go home. There's always one more detail, though, a small one that tucks in like a stitch. At the edge of that circle of light, the birthday banner sags with its mended E, tape shining under the bulb. Jake fixed it the next morning. He told me it took 2 tries to make it hold. Things break. Things hold. The difference lives in the way you touch them. I pass the intersection, and the light turns green, and the city lifts me under its wet leaves and drier sheet air. A bus exhales. A girl laughs into her scarf. A boy tosses a coin and misses the fountain. The coin clinks, rolls, disappears. Not everything goes in the bowl. Not every test deserves an answer. Back home, the plant points toward the window, wide and greedy. Claire leans into me in the doorway, shoulder to shoulder, and the apartment looks like itself. My phone rests in the drawer with the extra sauce packets and the air fryer manual. The drawer stays closed. The room breathes. Out in the night, somewhere, a porch light makes a circle. In here, the dark is soft and full of good sounds. Water in the pipes, a neighbor's laugh, the steady hush of traffic, the tiny tap of leaves against glass. I turn off the lamp. In the black, a small green LED glows on the charger like a waiting eye. It doesn't blink. It doesn't record. It doesn't ask for anything. The final image sits clean and simple. A window, a plant, and a room that does not perform.